Hello. So, rather than doing a speed paint or a tutorial, I thought that I would make this video answering my most asked questions, and these questions would be: when did I start drawing, or when did I enter the world of manga, and how did I find my style, and what influenced its development? So, as I talk, I will work on this girl here so that you guys don't get bored. Of course, you don't have to watch, you can just listen to my babbling in the background, but, whatever suits your boat. So, anyways, I'm gonna start with when did I start drawing and when did I enter the manga and anime world, because they're basically one question. So, I was exposed to Japanese culture, or not culture, but, manga and anime in general from a very young age. My sister was a huge fan of Sailor Moon, and she loved Inuyasha as well. She also loved Pokemon, so basically she was a huge influence on me, because when I was younger, I didn't do much, I didn't know what to do, and she was the one who kind of started my hobbies, I suppose. So, it started with Sailor Moon and Pokemon, and then, and my cousins used to love Yu-Gi-Oh! So basically I was surrounded by anime pretty much my whole life, even from young. Oh, and she also liked Doraemon, or if you watch the XD, the English dub, they call him Doraemon. But I also loved him as well. So anyhow, I didn't really enter the world until, say, second grade, when I met one of my best friends. We were both into Inuyasha at the time, and she kind of got me to delve into it a little bit more. So that was the start of me entering the world of manga. And that was in second grade, if I recall. Or maybe even first grade. I don't even remember. No, second grade. Yeah, second grade. So that's a long time ago. So after that, we both got into Naruto, and that's when I actually started drawing. My drawing sucked, of course, but it wasn't all that bad. Well, actually, yeah, it was pretty bad, but for my time, I thought I was pretty good, but in reality, not really. So, anyways, I started drawing characters like Sasuke and Orochimaru. And that's how I kind of started drawing. And at that time, I was only exposed to pretty much shonen style manga and anime. So I didn't know that there was a girly style. All I ever knew was that there was the guyish styles. And so I would just draw that for a while. And then after that, I got into... Well, actually, no, I was into Naruto for a long time. Long time. And then I discovered Gokusen. I wasn't a huge fan of it when I was younger because I didn't really like the style, but I love the story, and I still love the story. If you know Gokusen, you can look it up. Let me just show you how it's spelled. Gokusen. If you look it up, the style is rather distasteful and kind of plain, and a lot of people didn't read the manga because of that style, but honestly, I think even though the style is like that, I think the story is amazing, so I think you guys should totally read it. It's about the Yakuza and delinquents and stuff. I just love it. It also has some romance in it, but that's beside the point. I absolutely love that series, and rather than influencing my style, I think it influenced more my characters, my OCs, my original characters. So, there's its influence there, and I just had to give it a shout out. I just couldn't leave it like that. So anyhow, then after that, this is the start of me developing my style, or my preference in style, and it started with this anime. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm just gonna refrain from doing that, but this is what it is. I was obsessed with the way they drew the eyes in that anime. I was just smitten with the style, and that's when I started to attempt to make a style, like draw in that style or draw in a similar style, and I didn't prevail because, of course, I sucked at the time. And that was around 5th grade. And that's when I started to think, oh, well, I really want a girly style because, I was a girly person. And then after that, ironically, I got into Bleach. And it's just funny how I went from shoujo to shonen. Actually, no. That series was pretty, it had some action. But anyways, so Bleach is a huge influence on me because, as my older subscribers know, I am a huge Bleach freak. I love Bleach. Like, I don't love it as much as I used to, but I still do hold it very dear to my heart. And I used to draw Rukia and Orihime and Hinamori Momo all the time. And those were the only characters I would ever draw. And I have to say, you can sort of see how the style influenced my style, the way I draw my eyes. Like, I used to draw Rukia all the time, and then now, like, I can tell that my eyelashes look a lot like how Kubo, the mangaka for Bleach, draws her eyes, and as well as Orihime. So he also influenced how I draw hair and how I just draw face structures and just everything in general. So Bleach was a huge influence for me. Then after that, I discovered Wallflower, which is a shoujo manga, and it's absolutely ludicrous, but it's amazing. The style kind of influenced me to make more prettier, more shoujo-looking characters because the characters all look pretty. Even the guys looked pretty, and I really liked how the mangaka drew the lips, so that kind of got me into drawing lips on my characters, as you can see here. So that really got me into drawing lips and more facial features and the like. And then after that, I discovered Vampire Knight and the mangaka Arina Tanimura, right here. And sorry for the typo there, had some technical difficulties, but anyways, Arina Tanimura. If you don't know who she is, you might know her from some of the titles she has published. There's Full Moon's Sagashite. I don't know if you guys know that one, but it's about the girl with the throat cancer or something, and she can't sing, and she makes a... I don't know what it's about, because I never read it, but that's a rather popular manga of hers. And then I was introduced from Gentleman's Alliance, which is a manga, and I just love the way the mangaka of Vampire Knight and Arina Tanimura drew their eyes. It was just, I thought it looked absolutely amazing how they drew their eyes, because it was a very girly style, and I really, really liked how it was, like, how they drew their eyes. So I just kept trying to draw in their style for a long time, and I guess you can sort of see where the influence came from where I draw my eyes, except I keep mine a lot simpler. But they're also a major influence. And then after that, I discovered Blood Plus. And Blood Plus, I guess it influenced me more in terms of characters, like my OCs, as well as, I don't know, say, how I draw my eyes and lips. Because the characters in that series, such as, like, Saya, they had the girls had very pretty pronounced appearances. Like Julia, if you ever watched the anime, like Julia, she always had, like, pretty lips and always looked very mature and nice. And I guess that influenced how, like, what I like to draw. And then, like, Diva and Saya always looked really pretty, and so I drew in that style for a while as well, and I don't know if you can really see the influence that it had on my own drawings, but you might be able to tell. So anyhow, that's pretty much answering all of this, and maybe even like what influenced its development. So what's left is how did I find my style? And I didn't even know I had a style, to be honest, until I started my channel in like 2013. Like, I had my channel before that, but I didn't use it for anything. I just used it to favorite videos. And I was like the person who just watches and likes, but I didn't actually make anything. And back then I was still experimenting with my style and whatnot. If you go back to the beginning of my channel, you can see that, let's say in one video I had a particular style, but then, like, let's say if you go to the Sophie-chan video that I made for Sophie-chan, not a long time ago, but maybe about like a year and a half ago, or 2 years, even 2 years. Okay, anyways, you will see that my style just changed abruptly out of nowhere for that video, and it leaves you wondering, like, where did this come from? Like, when did she draw like this? And that was when I was still developing, and I still couldn't draw in one style, and I know many of you have problems with that too, where you just can't stick to one style. And the moment you do, that's when you know you have a style, you developed one. And people started telling me that. They're like, oh, I really like your style and how you draw eyes and etc. And I was like, wait, I don't really have a style. And then I actually looked at my drawings, and a lot of the characters look similar, but they didn't look identical. So I was like, oh, wow, I really did have a style. So that's kind of how I developed it. Nothing special, really. I didn't even know I had one. And here's some tips about, like, finding your style. So finding your style is like discovering who you are as a person. And don't try to, I don't know, let's say, like, not imitate, but try to get the exact style as someone else. Like, I used to do that when I was younger, and now I notice that doesn't, like, that's not how you're supposed to do it. That's why I advise everyone else to go experiment, because of my own experiences. Rather than sticking to one, I picked out several different things I loved about each mangaka's style. So I would pick, like, oh, I really like how Vampire Knight, how their eyelashes are. So I would pick that, and then I would choose, oh, well, I really like how Arina Tanemura draws the actual pupils themselves. And then I would experiment and just try and draw on that style for a long time. And of course it's not going to stick because it's not your own and you're not used to it. But after a while, it just comes naturally. You don't know when it's going to come, but it's going to come eventually. So that's all I have to say about that. So I guess that's the end of the video, and that pretty much answers everything. Hope that answered your, I don't know, your questions, in case you're wondering, because that's one of my most asked questions, or those were my most asked questions. So hopefully this enlightened you on the process of improving. And also, thank you to everyone who followed me on Instagram and Pagey World, because I just reached 3,000 followers on Pagey World and 1.5K on Instagram. So I really appreciate it, and that's amazing. Like, I started like a year and a half ago, and I'm already here, and I'm just, like, so thankful to everyone who stuck by me on all of my accounts. And if you haven't, I advise that you go check it out, because let's say, for example, this drawing here, this is not going to be a speed paint. This is just one of my daily doodles that I work on throughout the week. So you won't be able to see this type of stuff unless, you go check by my Instagram or my Pagey World. So, that's about it, and hope you enjoyed my rambling, and have a nice day. Bye!